So you really want to watch this video before you pay for that next property, that land. A lot of the complaints I've had over time from persons who has bought land and are afraid or frustrated from buying land are the issue of having their lands and properties collected from them. Some of them have had to pay again for their lands and properties which they already paid for. Why? Because so many persons fall prey to scam individuals who forcefully sell lands which they don't own to them. Some persons buy their land even from the right sources, but along the line, communities or government bodies come and collect those lands from them, which is not really a good experience I would wish for anyone, because real estate investment, whether for self-buy or for investment purpose, takes millions, right? Yeah. If you're buying any real estate properties, you are spending hundreds to millions of naira. So having to repay sometimes even times two of what you already paid, or in worst case scenarios, some persons losing all of their properties, is painful. Not too long ago, I heard of a case where some persons bought some properties from a family head, and it happened to be that after the family head died, another family head entirely rose up and said the property where over 30 to 40 persons acquired land, that it belongs to that family, and now the old man from whom they bought is dead. They did their findings and found out that it wasn't actually his. He sold somebody else's land. That was how a lot of them that had the money started repaying times two, while those who could not pay, even with their properties, some persons were even staying in the area already. That was how they lost all their properties, including their homes, because there was a court order stating that they should vacate the land or repay as stated. And it was a painful experience though. It was a very painful experience, and I wouldn't wish that on any of my enemies, let us talk of my friends or investors. Just like the case that also recently happened, when we saw a whole part of the community land close to us here collected by the government for a purpose, their estate purpose. All land belongs to the government, right? So that was how everybody that owned land, that bought property from there, even estates who did not have a memorandum of understanding between them and the government, they lost all their properties. After all said and done, the government still collected the place, and that is how everybody that invested in that area lost their investment. And I began to wonder, why do so many persons open their eyes and lost millions of their investments in this way? Because real estate is said to be one of the safest way of investing, right? It is one of the safest method of investing, but it is also one of the hugest form of losing your investment capital, because you invest in high rates, right? And then I began to see that a lot of these problems are caused because so many persons love to cut corners when doing their investment. As a professional land broker for so many years, I've always advised that whenever you want to get your properties, you get it from a reputable real estate company that has integrity and brand, very necessarily that has a brand to protect. So many persons that fall prey to these land grabbers, community bodies, government officials, and even land encroachers are people who bought lands and invested with real estate companies that has absolutely nothing to lose in the long run. And when you are doing that, you are doing the riskiest form of investment that there can ever be. You are paying your millions into a Ponzi scheme where if nothing happens, you go with your land or your properties, and if something happens, your investment is lost. Why? Because you invested with individuals that has no ground, real estate companies that has no brand, and nothing to lose. And this is why I have always advised that when you want to invest, you look for a reputable company like DTC, which I know and which I have done business with for years, that they have integrity and the brand to keep, that wouldn't want anything to spoil its name. Just like having a case where you come out and say, this company, you bought a property from them and now there is an issue, or maybe the government comes and there is no reinstatement of your investment. It has never been the case with DTC for years of investing, and they wouldn't want anything of such because they keep their brand, they sell their name, not their lands. Also, before you buy any of these properties, ensure you ask questions like, what are the measures? Even if you're buying from a real estate company or broker, right? Because there are so many false real estate companies out there today who also have nothing to lose. They just have a name, but they have no measures for ensuring that your investments are safe when you invest with them. So you have to ask this question: what are the measures you guys are putting in place to see that I don't lose my investment in the long run? Maybe when I want to develop and the community bodies are coming up, I want to do something in my estate. Maybe I want to sell. After a long time, someone else is coming up and saying he has this property and that property in your estate, of which I have already paid, and that has been the case with so many persons. Here in DTC, we have so many measures in place to ensure that all of our investors' investments are 100% secure, even if they are doing the long-term investment with us, that is land banking, for over 50 to 90 years. They are sure and safe. Recently, I had somebody ask me a question, and he was like, sir, how am I sure that am I confident that my investment will be safe since I'm in Lagos and I'm buying this property from you guys in Benin? How am I sure that as I'm not there for the next 10 to 20 years, that my properties will be safe and secured by the time I come to see it? And I said, even if you are overseas, even those that buy from us from diaspora, purchase our diaspora area, the only reply I have for you is that as long as it is DTC that is giving you this property, as long as you have the word of DTC, then you have no problem. That was just the reply. As long as this word is coming from DTC, then you have absolutely no problem. Why? Because at DTC, we don't sell our lands, we sell our brands. DTC is a company that has been into the real estate market for over 10 years of investing in real estate and has done so many successful transactions without any glitch or problems with the communities, because they have that integrity and brand which they have always kept and protected So as long as you are getting the word from DTC, wherever you are buying from, if it is DTC, then you have no problem. That was just my reply. And that is because I know that DTC has, in those years of investing, had so many experiences and has put in place so many measures to ensure that all of our properties are 100% safe and secured. And some of the measures which DTC put in place are the MOU method, which is the Memorandum of Understanding method, covering all of our estates. The MOU method, which we also call the Memorandum of Understanding method, is the legal agreement which we reach even before putting any of our properties out there for investors to come and invest, right? We make sure we do this legal agreement between the clans and the community heads, individuals who may have been said to have properties around our estate areas, and the government bodies. And this is a binding agreement and stating that whatever we are doing with our investment is covered, and there wouldn't be any case of any of these bodies rising up over time to say that they own a property here and they own a property here. When this legal agreement is not reached, or we see any sign of it being breached, we don't go into investing in such areas, because we have a lot of investors who has trusted our name, and we wouldn't want to have cases like the ones we saw with the government estate that was collected, or with the other case which I just told you about. And another measure which we put in place is the PFM method. The PFM method, which is also known as the perimeter fencing method, is one of the surest way of securing lands from any of these bodies formerly stated. It is a means of ensuring that we fence round, we do the perimeter fencing of all our estates, even before we announce it on sale for any of our investors to buy. We ensure we do this for all of our estates, because we know that security of our land is of prime interest to us, even before our investors, because we put in so much of our investment in these places which we wouldn't want to lose to land encroachers or land grabbers. And the moment you fence around your estate, it is completely locked out from any of these land grabbers or land encroachers. And we ensure that we take that up immediately we are done with our Memorandum of Understanding with these bodies, to ensure that in the longer run, in over 90 to 99 years, nobody comes in and says, this place belongs to my father or belongs to my great-grandfather, when it has already been locked up perimeterly and gated. So this being the surest form of protecting your investment is a measure which any estate body that is selling to you must put in place before they come to you to come and buy a property from them. And then thirdly, we have the BFM method. The BFM method, which I also call the beacon fencing method, is a measure which we also reach to ensure that every piece of property that is being purchased by any of our investors is safe and secured through this registered survey method, which is covered by the company itself, and then followed with the high rising beacon system, which we also cover to ensure that no issue of land encroachment, even within the estate. I've seen issues where so many persons will buy like a plot, then they'll end up developing like 2 plots, 3 plots, of which they only bought the plot from the estate body or the area, but they have ended up encroaching. And this is also done by some land grabbers too. Out of our experience and long time in the business of real estate, we ensure that the moment we go into sales of our estate, any property, any piece of property that is purchased from us is done with the high rising beacon system, ensuring that no case of encroachment, even for our long-term investors, no form of encroachment is reached or encountered over time. When you are buying 100 by 100, which is 900 square meters, and you are coming in the next 90 years, you will still be meeting your high-rising beacon there with your registered survey, and no encroachers has crossed the path of your high-rise beacon. And this is one of the safest and surest method of ensuring that your estate property is safe and secured, and also not forgotten. Because a lot of times, so many persons will buy these lands, and after years of living it or not being in the area, just like diaspora areas which are bought by those who are far away, they will come back and they may not be able to identify the place where they bought from over 30 years, 15 years, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Though with the high rising beacon which we put in place, which we ensure that we do for all of our properties, you can easily locate your land by seeing the beacon of where you bought, your neighbor's own, and you are under a registered survey both with us and the survey registering body. And then we have the constant development method. DTC as a body, as a real estate company, always ensures they take it up to always develop their properties from time to time. And the beauty of this is that it ensures the increase in valuation of all of our investments and our investors' capital, which they have invested in our land. And as we continue to develop continuously, those investments, they skyrocket in valuation. And we do this for all of our properties, every one of our properties. We have the perimeter fencing, which we always do, the good road network, which we always construct for all of our estates. We have the gate house, the security house, and even within estate development, which we ensure that we do for almost all of our properties, and which is currently going on for every of our available properties for the now. And this is why investors love investing with us. Why? Because we invest in our properties so they can invest in us. And that is why I said get a real estate property who has something to lose. Because you see it, right? By the time we've done all of this work in our estate and we continue doing them, we wouldn't want any of these bodies to come and take the property which we have first put in our millions of investments from us. But oftentimes I see so many persons who say I invested to the real estate company, and then I ask them this question: apart from selling land, which other business does the real estate company do there? And they are often quiet. Some persons will come up with a name, with a real estate company name, and then they will just start selling you properties which they don't develop, which they don't go there to check from time to time, which they don't have machineries working in. And once they sell to you, it is left for you anything you see there. Those are not the real estate properties or companies you want to buy or you want to commit your money to. You want to commit your millions of hard-earned gains to. Because if anything happens to you, yeah, they can only promise you restitution in some cases, while some will not even give a listening ear at all. And even though they promised you restitution, you have nothing to gain. They wouldn't even attend to you. They won't even, this is from experience, they won't even give you what they have promised. Why? Because they have nothing at all to lose. But with a real estate company who are also developing, making their own buildings inside the estate themselves, and also selling these properties to individuals, and also ensuring that they develop these properties over time, they would want to cover all of their investment first from these bodies. And as they are doing that, those individuals who are opportune to buy from them are also sure of 100% security. They are also sure of the fact that somebody is always there working. They are also sure of the fact that the estate is being developed and their investment are increasing. They are also sure of the fact that no community head or government bodies will come after some time, because they have reached an understanding and agreement with this company, these community bodies, and nobody is coming to question them, right? They are also sure of the fact that whether they stay for 50 to 30 to 20 years, they can't miss their properties. Why? Because they have high rising beacons, which they will just go, they will meet the companies, they get their registration numbers, go to the place where they got their properties, and their beacons are very visible. They are also sure of the fact that there is a perimeter fence going around all of their properties, of which no land grabbers or land encroachers will come to the place for the fence and encroach into their properties. So before you buy any real estate property, before you pay for that land, before you make that investment which you are about to make, ensure you watch these, you put these into consideration, you ask these questions, and then you watch the persons, the companies, and the bodies from whom you are about to buy that land from. This is my piece of advice. Real estate still remains the best and the surest form of investment, and it is also the safest, but you have to invest wisely. See you next time. Goodbye.